Hi there, welcome to Becoming Madame. Hi there! Today we're going to do a traditional ratatouille, which is a recipe from my belle-mère. So what you're going to need is 2 cloves of garlic, an onion, green and red pepper, some, look at this, how neat this is. This is 2 different types of zucchini, but you can do whatever kind you like, 2 large tomatoes, and a large eggplant, aubergine. Okay, here we go. Start off with your garlic and your onions and butter into a large pot on the stove. First thing you're going to throw into your now melted butter on the stove in your medium-sized pot. Ratatouille is probably one of the most traditional French meals. It's a side meal for a lot of different kinds of meats. People use it a lot. My mother-in-law serves it with almost every kind of meat. But she also you can freeze it, and you can use it as a beginnings of a fabulous tomato sauce for pasta. Turn this down to once you've melted your butter, turn it down to low heat, and let that just saute away while you cut your onions. So I was saying you can use it as, first of all you can freeze it, and it lasts forever, and it's a really great thing to have in the freezer so that when you come home on vacation or something, you have a meal practically ready. Works great. It goes great with barbecue, which is not that French, but it does go great with barbecue. My mom is a vegetarian, and she eats ratatouille as a meal in itself. Okay, so just doing some rough cutting here with your onion. Alright, so throw in your onion next. Your garlic is nice and browned in your butter. Oops, leave that to saute until it's translucent, until the onions have lost most of their color and are basically see-through. It'll take a couple minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, 4 minutes, just enough time for you to cut the rest of your vegetables. Okay, the next thing you want to do are your peppers. So you need to do this in the right order so you get the right taste, but also so that your vegetables are properly cooked the right amount of time, because they're not all the same hardness. So you start with your peppers. Cut them up. I cut mine up into long parts like this, and then in half at the end. Okay, so once you have your peppers ready, cut up into, again, doesn't matter what they look like because they're not really going to look like peppers for very long. So peppers is next. Once your onions are translucent, you throw in your peppers. You're not going to need to add any water because there's so much liquid, there's so much water in vegetables. I like to use a red pepper and a green pepper because I think the red is really pretty, and even though you can't really tell the vegetables, you can see the color at the end result, which we'll see together. And it looks nice. The whole thing kind of comes out actually as brown, but there is a little bit of difference in color, and it looks nice. Okay, so again, we're going to let those cook. Let them cook down quite a bit. Again, I'm on low heat here. Don't want anything to burn, that's the goal. Next up, you'll see that we're working from the vegetables that are the hardest to the ones that are the most waterful. Is that a word? No. Have the most water in them. This is a zucchini, round zucchini. I found it at the market. I thought it was really neat. Funny, in France, if you go to a market and you ask the market vendor for, you start with zucchini, which is courgette, voilà, and aubergine, which is eggplant, they'll automatically say, ah, bah vous faites une ratatouille. I told a really good friend of mine, an old friend of mine I've known for 10 years, over 10 years, that I would do one of these videos in French. So I said I was going to do one of these videos, and I will. As soon as I get enough courage to speak on camera in French. Okay, so let's check on our peppers. Super. See how they've reduced and there's some water at the bottom now? That's what you want. That's perfect. So the next 3 items you can kind of add at the same time. I always start with the zucchini. Okay, so you can see that it's reduced down quite a bit now. The peppers and the courgette, zucchini. And that's what you want. It's kind of becoming moist and falling apart. That's what you want. So now there's lots of water at the bottom. Now I'm going to add my eggplant. There you go. And same procedure. Mix it up and let it cover it and let the heat work away, bringing it down. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. I come back over and you'll see that everything's sort of reduced a lot now and there's lots more water. Make sure you stir every 5 minutes or so, otherwise it'll stick to the bottom. And now I can add in the last ingredient, which are my tomatoes. And you also need to add in your seasoning now. So let me add in these gaffers. Some people say that you need to peel your tomatoes. I think that most of the nutrients in vegetables is in their skins, so I tend not to peel any of my vegetables unless it's absolutely necessary. And I find that it adds a little a nice texture to the ratatouille, so we don't do that. Give that a good stir in. Okay. And once you get to this stage, you're going to add in your salt. You need to put in quite a bit of salt. You get to use your fingers. If you're measuring it out, I would put 2 teaspoons. You're also going to put in 1 teaspoon of Herbe de Provences. And salt and pepper. Well, with that salt, but pepper I just put in. That's what I start out with. Now, depending on your tastes, you might want to come back, give it a taste, obviously, and add in, a little bit more, or start with less salt maybe. But the thing is, it's only vegetables, and so you need a lot of salt to bring out the flavor. Okay, so look, I'm gonna have like a soup. Looks a bit like. We have all that nice red, which is going to be pretty. I think it's important that food is just as pretty as it is tasteful. Alrighty, and I have 2 tricks now. So, we've done our salt and pepper, and we've done our Herbe de Provences. Now, we're going to add in a little bit of oregano. A little bit of paprika, doux, like paprika. Those 2 right there, oregano and paprika, make this really super. So it's been 30 minutes, and this is what ours looks like. Sort of a jumble of vegetables, which is what it is. It's really best to do it the day before you're going to serve it, if you're going to serve it to guests, because if you're going to serve it to anybody really, because the flavors intensify overnight and it's even better the next day, which happens actually a lot with French food. So this is basically done, If you have a lot of water, you can take off the lid and leave it for a while. As long as you keep stirring, you can't cook this too much. Also remember that, like my mom, she makes this as a meal in itself, and she eats it with some rice, and she's a vegetarian, and it's really great. So this is a very traditional French ratatouille, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye bye.